Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing really good. So I got a new background, first of all. Matches my eyes pretty good, as you can tell. So today's video is going to cover my TSW journey, my eczema journey in general. A lot happened a few years ago, so I just want to cover that with pictures and everything, just so you get a bit of understanding of kind of where I am at now. I also want to give a trigger warning because this is going to include like mental health, depression, pictures of my skin which are, I'm not gonna lie, very graphic. So yeah, just be mindful watching this video if you think it's going to trigger you. Obviously I don't want it to do that, so yeah, probably best not to watch. Before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below, give it a big thumbs up, and yeah, let's get started. Okay, so it all started back when I was a kid. I had normal eczema, just regular eczema that a lot of kids get, on and off, just basically in the crease of my arms, my neck I had it on. I did mention in my last video, I don't know if you've watched it, and I don't know if my throat's actually healed anymore so you can see it, but here is where I've kind of got like the thinning of my skin just because of topical steroids. That's what my mum got prescribed for me when I was younger, so that's thinned my skin. That's one of the side effects I actually mentioned in my other video. But yeah, just I've had eczema all my life basically and nothing really to worry about. It started to flare up. Basically, I was at my mum's house and I was living there, and my partner at the time, we went through a couple of like crappy bits basically. I don't really want to say too much, I don't think it's fair to say too much. I think it was early 2015, I might be completely wrong, I don't know. Late 2014, early 15 anyway. I think it might have been March, I'm not sure. I think we moved into our first rented accommodation, which was just down the road from my mum, so it was perfect. I'm really close to my mum, so I didn't want to live kind of like too far away. So yeah, everything was really good then. But yeah, it was quite still a stressful time because I was upset about leaving and everything like that. Then I realised my eczema started to flare up maybe a couple of months after I lived in the rented house. I'm not sure why. Again, I just put it down to stress. I didn't really know what it were. So I went to the doctors and I actually got some steroid creams. I was already on steroid creams at this time, but obviously, like I explained in the last video, I got a stronger, more potent one. I was applying that every day, 2-3 times a day, even 4 times if I needed to, or thought I needed to. Yeah, so it just kind of spiraled there, and basically it just got worse and worse. So I ended up going to the dermatologist, who in the end, I think we visited about 3-4 times at least, and I had tests done, full blood count, and they obviously looked at all my skin. At the time I was like really red. I came out in like red blotches. I'll try my best to like put any pictures up here that I find throughout the video, but yeah, I had like all what I now know is like typical TSW symptoms. I had all red blotchiness around here. I had like hives, sort of, it kind of looked like goosebumps or hives all over my body, and it was just itching like mad. Yeah, and it was just mad. Like my skin just would not calm down. Whatever I put on it, calamine lotion, I tried. There's a cream that I actually still use now called Urax, and it's like a calamine sort of cream, and you just apply that and that cools it. But back then, even that didn't work. Calamine lotion didn't work because what happened where it kind of dried on the surface, it kind of went a bit chalky, and then it's just started itching again. I had been to the doctors quite a bit and I got different emollients and stuff like that, wax based ones. I did try a couple of water based ones, but I don't think they worked too well. But the problem with them was when it kind of laid on your skin, your hairs would kind of flatten down and then it'd dry. Your hairs would kind of come up like that, and then it just starts itching again, and like that was my problem. Yeah, the dermatologist, basically we had about 4 or 5 visits at the very least, and she took a full blood count, and I did ask him to do an allergy test because I do have dogs. I now have 5 dogs, but at the time I think I only had 3. They basically said no, like we can't do one. My skin was too reactive or something, I don't know, it's too sensitive to do one. I've still not had one, I'm still asking for one. so whether I get one in the future I'm not too sure. But anyway, after a few visits to the dermatologist, we went to get the results, and basically it was like there's basically nothing there. She picked up like some sort of virus or something, and she said that my immune system is low. That's basically it. And the treatment that they offered was either some oral medication to treat that, which the side effect from that, she told me, was actually like suicidal thoughts and really like decline in mental health, depression, things like that. So straight away I was like, no, I'm not taking that. And the second treatment that she said would probably work best would be the Elicon topical steroid cream. If anyone's used Elicon before, you'll know how strong and ridiculously potent it is. I didn't know, I just got really excited because I was like, finally I've found something that'll work. And because a dermatologist had given it me, I thought, right, this is the one that's going to make it like go forever. How wrong was I? How wrong was I? But yeah, I just thought I'd found the holy grail of steroid creams. I thought this was the one that was going to cure my eczema, but no, we're still here. We've still got it. So I went home and I got my ointment. It was, you can get it in like a cream, lotion or ointment form, I think. Mine was the ointment. Again, they said that the ointment would help hydrate my skin or something, I don't know. This must have been around August, September time. I remember it still being summer. So I tried Elicon for a while. Amazing stuff. So yeah, like any other steroid cream, it worked perfectly. I thought, right, I've finally found something that actually works. The dermatologist actually said, right, I'll send a note to GPs, this is on repeat prescription. I was like, oh my god, thank you, thank you. Like, I've been trying to find out what it is. So this is where the real story starts. It must have only been a few months of using it. My skin went horrible. Really horrible. Like the worst it's ever been. I'm going to give a second trigger warning because these pictures, no one's ever seen them. Like, not even my friends have seen them. No one at my workplace have seen them. Literally just my mum, my sisters, my brother. In fact, I don't even know if my brother's seen them. My dad. That's only people that's ever seen them. Just... I actually feel a bit weird about printing this video, but it's also important to show you if anyone else is going through it. So yeah, basically where are we now? We've been using the cream for a few weeks, a few months, it got better, and basically this happened. My skin was so bad that I couldn't get out of the bath. My skin was red. I still had eczema, blotchiness all the way around my chest, which now I know is TSW symptoms. On the creases of my arm, back of my legs, inside my thighs, my ankles were a right mess. Behind ears, throat, face. Never had it like this though, to be honest. I think this is something different, which I'll talk about in another video. But yeah, it was on kind of like here, in my eyebrows even, my eyebrows. My wrists would split here, kind of where like your natural creases are there. It just split, like clean split open. By this point I just couldn't really function as what I normally would. I got depressed, I was put on antidepressants. 10th of September I got my first tattoo license, well, for my own studio anyway, and I carried on working for a good few months past Christmas, and it was just really, really bad. In the end I had just had to stop working, but even when I had to wake up, put bandages around my wrists, atop that I'd put the actual outfit that I always wore. It was like a black kind of knitted jumper and a red checkered sleeve, just because it would come kind of past where the bandages were, and I'd always wear that every single day. Obviously I washed it every day as well, but yeah, I'd wear that every single day. Or like variants of, I had like a couple of shirts and I used to like swap them over, but that's basically the only comfortable outfit that I had. All the symptoms just got 10 times worse, as you can imagine. With TSW, it's your body needs the steroids to carry on basically, and that's how you spiral into a big shit show. So I think we are now probably early 2016, I would say, mid 2016. And I'm not sleeping. Not sleeping enough, but when I do, I was oversleeping, not working, not being able to work the next day, cancelling appointments, stuff like that. The bandages would get stuck to my skin because of the oozing and the water retention in my legs as well. I just remember my mood all the time was that I just felt angry and upset, fed up, frustrated, as anyone would. And even when I was on antidepressants, it did still kind of carry on how it was. It didn't really fix anything. And then just being in that state all the time, it just kind of made my headspace all negative every single day. I didn't really have anything to look forward to anymore. This is kind of going a bit dark, but basically I was just a lot depressed. I didn't kind of feel as if certain people kind of knew what were going off, like they didn't know the severity of it. They didn't understand, or they didn't want to understand. It became kind of annoying to them. And I kind of knew that, and I kind of felt bad for it being a thing to be annoyed at, if that makes sense. So then the stress from that made it worse again. And obviously all the side effects from TSW, everything was just up in the air and it was horrible. Because of my low immune system, everything that was kind of going on would just hit me 10 times harder. My skin would take literally weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks just to heal these little bits here. I had these for over a year and just kept having to wear bandages, like I said, a scarf around my neck as well, just to stop this. I mean, it did it today, just to stop any oozing. Oh, horrible to even think. Just everywhere is like sticking to me. Any clothing that I wear just sticks. So you can imagine how awkward that was to work and go out for meals, just go about my daily life basically without being in pyjamas or baggy clothing that didn't hurt. Another reason that I knew like I felt myself going downhill was that I would be in the bath for literally 13 hours straight. I would only get out of the bath to literally use the toilet and probably get a drink. But yeah, literally in the bath for 13-14 hours straight. No joke. I would just take the plug out a little bit, put hot water in, take the plug out again, hot water. And I used to have my baths way too hot as well. That was the only time that I was really comfortable. Well, I wouldn't even call it comfortable, but it was my sort of comfortable. I tried Epsom salts, I tried every emollient under the sun, basically I've tried at this point, and it just didn't work. Even getting in the bath burnt my skin, even if there were nothing but water, just plain straight water, even that would burn so bad, and it does still now, to be fair, sometimes. But I just remember it being like, it felt like wet fire. That's how bad it was. But as soon as you'd like submerge yourself and kind of got over the pain, it would last for about 20 minutes. But after that, I could kind of just sit still with my arms up like this, and I would literally just sit in the bath, and that's it. That'd be me for more than half a day. So at this point, I was still living in the rented house. I was still wanting to work. I was still in my head I was wanting to do all these things, but I just never had the drive to. Like, I couldn't physically get up and do it, whether that was down to pain or like a motivation or whatever. But yeah, and then I'd just get like frustrated the fact I couldn't do it. The only time that I was genuinely happy was when I was seeing my family back at my mum's house, because everyone kind of congregates at hers. That's the only time that I would kind of forget to an extent about my skin and could just enjoy my day. It's weird because like thinking back now to how I was, like my train of thought and what just went through my mind in general was like, well, what's the point? Literally, what's the point? And if this is how it's going to be, then I'd rather not be here, but like basically just like, well, what else can I do? That's kind of just my mind on a daily basis for over a year. I've literally just remembered that I was put on Valium. I was on the highest dose of Valium and sertraline that I could have been on. I was having panic attack after panic attack at this point, and I had to visit my mum late at night to actually just get over it for like 10 minutes, and then I just walk back down the road or even drive down the road back home, literally just feeling fine, and then maybe the next day it'd happen again. So yeah, just not a healthy lifestyle at all. So I tried to obviously cure it. I tried to get rid of it. I think we actually tried to get back in contact with the dermatologist and say like, look, this is not working. I can't actually remember what happened with that or whether we actually got any joy of it. We obviously didn't, because I mean, I'm still here. But yeah, before I move on to like how I actually try to help myself, I'm going to tell you the list of steroid creams that I was actually put on in this time frame. So this is about a year and a half. What I don't understand is like, why did no one go, oh, you've had this cream for this length of time, and you've had this cream for this length of time, it's way too long, this is what's happening, like, and this can cause so many side effects, and this is probably what's going on. Like, no one said that. So I didn't know that it was topical steroid withdrawal until literally, like I said in the beginning of the video, until maybe a year back, and this is 2021. Like, hydrocortisone, Cinelar, Betnovate, Umavate, Elicon, Fucibet, Dermavate. They're not in order, but that is all that I can remember. That is all the steroid creams that I was on within that time, and no one actually questioned it. Like I said, I tried many things to fix what was going on, whatever this was at the time. Like, obviously now I know, but I just thought I'd just put it down to eczema and stress. That's what I put it down to, because I weren't happy, if I'm completely honest. I weren't happy at the time in my relationship. I wasn't happy living where I was living. Even though I love the house, I wasn't happy just in general. I don't know. I just weren't where I wanted to be, basically. I did move back to my mum's. My skin was just the same. It wasn't getting any better. So later on, I went back onto steroid creams because I had to, basically. There was nothing else I could do. It got worse before I stopped using them, and then really bad, and then I had to start using them again to actually control it. That's the whole cycle of it. That's what steroid creams do. I tried many things. I tried all different emollients, oil-based, wax-based, like I said, a couple of water-based ones as well, but I don't think they worked. Epsom salts, like Dead Sea salts and stuff in your bath, that didn't really work. That just stung. Everything just stung so bad. Baby bath, anything for babies, sensitive skin, anything. I tried it. I tried many creams from the doctors as well while I was using steroids. Again, nothing seemed to work. It did moisturise my skin, obviously, to a point, but then as soon as I get out of the bath or anything like that, my skin was literally just go. I'd be like SpongeBob and Patrick, where they're on that bench and they just like soak up all the moisture and they go all dry. That's literally what I felt like. So I moved back to my mum's in early 2017. I think it was about around May time, trying to find a new studio to work at while still going through all this pain and stuff with my skin. Was just horrible. I think my skin got really good at this point, which I'll put a picture up here. Towards the mid to late, I think September time, maybe October, my mum was ill and she ended up in hospital. I'm not going to go into why or anything like that, but this is what happened to my skin. And at the time I just thought, this is eczema, it's probably psoriasis, because I've never had psoriasis. I didn't know how different it was to eczema or dermatitis or what. I didn't know like the differences in the look of it. Yeah, this is what my skin went like, and it was the most uncomfortable feeling ever. Like, my skin being like this is the second, I'd say the second worst feeling. As you can probably imagine, it was just flaking. I could literally just go like that and I'd just have like, it just looked like baby talcum powder just dropping off my face, on my chest, it'd be everywhere. I couldn't wear like a black t-shirt like I am today, because as you can tell, my skin is completely different colour to my chest. Even my neck. I mean, my neck's not half as bad as what it was, but it's kind of flared up around my ears. Even now, it literally made me feel sick. I'd stand up and it'd just be on the floor. Oh my god, it was horrible. Really embarrassing. My mum was in hospital, I think, for about a week to week and a half, if I'm not wrong. And when I did go and see my mum, I'd have to wear like a scarf to kind of cover it up, and so my hair didn't stick to it or anything. The flakiness was just, oh my god, the flakiness was just horrible. That was TSW. It's probably one of the biggest symptoms, apart from red skin syndrome and the oozing, that you actually get. Which again, at the time I didn't even know anything about it. And yeah, it just went back and forth like that for a while, and then I started going in the bath again for hours and hours and hours. Because I was back at my mum's house, I couldn't do it quite as long as what I did before. Like 13 hours straight, it was just crazy. I did do it for maybe a handful of times at night time or very early morning, so like 4 AM when everyone was asleep. I would literally just go in then and like get out about 9 AM, which obviously by then my skin's dried out. I had my baths way too hot, like I said. Imagine putting your hand in like a really hot sink that you've just made up, and it's as hot as you can stand, basically. That's what my baths would be like, because anything cooler than that, my skin would just dry up. Obviously it's drying anyway, but my skin would literally just dry up. It would be so painful, so I couldn't actually do anything. I couldn't have it any other way, even though that was just as damaging. I didn't help myself at this point. It turned into like a habit of picking, scratching to take the stress out, and I even do it now sometimes, where I will scratch my skin so bad that it just basically starts it from square one. Even before doing this video, I put cream on basically and I rubbed all my eyes and it just started like weeping, like here, so that's why my eyes are a bit red. Well, they're red anyway, but that's why they're a bit more red. That happens now, but it started back then, and I would do it every single day, multiple times a day. I couldn't cope with the symptoms, and at this point the doctors were still telling me that the steroid cream would help, so just keep applying it, keep applying it. The Elicon on repeat prescription, if you remember from earlier, and I'd go from like thinking that's not working, so I'd use the Cinelar cream. The doctors also gave me that on prescription, so I was using 2 different steroid creams, which is a big fat no. Thinking back, like, I don't even know how they didn't twig that what I was doing was really bad for my skin. Like, even now, I've even noticed now that my skin's thinned a little bit on my legs, and you can see my veins a little bit more, as you can on my neck. That's now around my ankles a little bit. Like, luckily for me, you won't really tell if I wore a skirt or anything like that, which I'm hoping one day that I can actually do. So because I couldn't go in the bath for as long, I would start sitting on the toilets. Like, the toilet's kind of next to the bath, so the bath's here and the toilet's literally here, so I'd sit on top of the toilet with the lid down obviously, and then put my legs over the bath, fill the bath up to kind of as high as I could get it, and just soak my legs for hours on end, which at the time was really soothing. And because our toilet is downstairs, I could talk to my mum at the same time. She literally stops my panic attacks all the time. Yeah, and at one point she gave me a book. The book that my mum gave me, it's a bit tatty now, but so this is the book that my mum gave me to read and kind of fill in. If you've not seen it, it's called The Calm Book, and it basically goes through, like, put the date in it, you go like, how's your day been today, what made you feel calm, what are you grateful for, what are your highlights of today, and all different stories, kind of like how your mind works, how panic attacks work. It talk about walking in like nature. It's got like a nature section. It's an amazing book, to be fair. It's got like how to meditate, how to use this book. Even at the front it tells you how to properly use it. It's got like kind of techniques and stuff of how to cope with your panic attacks and anxiety. It's a really, really good book. I don't know if they actually have a updated version of this, but if not, definitely would recommend this book. It's been well used, as you can tell, so yeah, really, really good book. But I would sit for absolute hours and just read this over and over again. It's not even that thick, but I would just read it constantly. At one point I did actually write in a diary as well. I couldn't actually find to show you in this video, because in this video I just wanted to include absolutely everything and just get it off my chest. If I do find it in the future, I will do a separate video on it. I'm not gonna lie, it was very hard to write in that diary and be positive. Everything I wanted to do was just, I didn't want to be negative, but my mind was just in a clouded place. Like, it was just dark. It was, I didn't really see a way out, and I thought that daily routine was gonna be forever. I did have suicidal thoughts in the way that I'd be like, what's the point if I can't do this or that? What's the point if I just wake up and this is how I'm gonna be every single day? It wasn't that I didn't want to be here, I did. It's just I was so frustrated of the state of my skin and the lifestyle that I had. I just didn't see a way out at the time, and everything was just a bit shit, basically. Later on in 2017, like late 2017, I became vegan. And this, I'm not going to go too far into this because I can do a separate video on it if you want me to. Just let me know down in the comments. But yeah, I decided to go vegan. I forgot the exact date, but basically I went vegan pretty much overnight. I just woke up, and because I'm very much like that anyway, I will wake up and be like, actually I'm going to do this today. It's not spontaneous, but if I do set my mind to something, I will do it. If I don't, then I'm going to be half-assed about it forever. So I'm very all or nothing anyway. But yeah, I woke up and I was like, today's going to be the day that I'm going to try going vegan. If it don't work, it don't work, but if it does, and it actually did. And I did like a 2.5, 3 hour shop in Morrison's. I was in McDonald's then. It was the hardest shop that I've ever done. I ended up being vegan until 2020. The only thing that I have noticed that does rile my skin up is sugar. I still don't know what sugar it is. I can have Haribo sweets, and as long as I have like 2 or 3 of them, I am absolutely fine. I don't itch, it don't affect me in any way. If I have half a bag, which I could quite easily do, my skin would itch and I would get panicky. Yeah, my battery is about to go. Where was I? Yeah, so like I said earlier, I have tried to ask for a allergy test of like dogs. Like I said, I've got 5 dogs. I don't know if I'm allergic to them. I know they do itch my eyes sometimes when I forget to wash my hands from stroking them. It does puff my eyes up a little bit. So that's definitely one of the allergies that I've got. I know I've got general hay fever as well, but that doesn't do this. This is not what I've got here. All I know at the minute is sugar definitely affects my skin. So the way that I actually got rid of TSW, which to be honest I don't think I did entirely, is just waiting it out. I had to stop using steroid creams for a little bit. I don't know if it cleared up because I stopped using them after a bit, or if my diet changed or anything. I can't remember from that point, but yeah, it did clear up quite a bit, and it stayed like that for a good while, and then it started up again. So like I said, steroid creams do not cure eczema. They don't cure anything. They just cause basically a lot of complications, if you like me anyway. I just wanted to make this video basically just to tell my story. Yeah, like I've never told anyone the full story, and I'm sure there's little bits that I have forgot and everything like that, which if I have forgot anything significant I will include it in a different video. But as it stands, I think I've actually included absolutely everything that I can remember. I hope this video does make sense somewhat, because obviously there's a lot to put in there and a lot to make sense of. Like the time frames and stuff like that was probably the hardest thing to remember, so if it didn't really make sense, I'm sorry, but yeah, I didn't realise that I'd ever put this out there anyway, so I didn't prepare it, and I didn't save a lot of the things that I would have liked to put in this video, basically. Like the diary that I said, it was quite eerie to read, and it would have been a little bit weird reading it, I think, but it wasn't anything like really bad. It was just like my daily life and how I felt that day. When I read it back maybe a couple of years ago when I did have the diary, I don't know what I've done with it now, but it was a little bit eerie to read. So yeah, my skin got really good in 2019. It was probably because I met my boyfriend Mike, and I had different people in my life from then, and I just had less stress in general than what I had previously. Things were just way better. I kind of forgot about all the shitty things with my skin. It definitely flare up again, but the redness on here wasn't there anymore. That went a couple of years before. The only time it started getting bad was very recently, from October just gone, so October 2020 to now basically, is my skin's just been shocking. I had a flare up of my eczema and dry skin around here. I think it was stress from lockdown and things like that that just caused it. So I was prescribed topical steroids again. I think hydrocortisone for a few times. Then I was given Fucibet and Umavate. As I've said before in my other video, I was using it on my face as I was told to, and on my neck, anywhere that I had flared up basically. This all started from wearing the PPE at work. So I've got my mask, my head guard screen thing, plastic apron, gloves and the plastic sleeves. So that's what I'm wearing for work, and all the heat basically from my body, having my head down like this tattooing, would just started all this eczema off, so then it's just flared up, and the topical steroids have just made it 10 times worse. My legs have started to get really bad again, kind of like what they did before. So this picture shows the dates from when my skin was really bad, and then I had an infection, so I had antibiotics and steroid cream for a few days to a week. But yeah, you can see how much it improved my skin, and then it just went apeshit and just did this to it afterwards. It's not gone back quite as bad on my legs, but it is still flared up, as my arms are. As you can, I don't know if you can tell, but my arms are quite flared up here, and it's very, very, very itchy. So this whole cycle that I had years ago is now happening again. Luckily it has got a bit better. It doesn't look like it has, but trust me, it's got a hell of a lot better. I've just started using some Avene cream. It's really good so far. It has helped a hell of a lot, but I've still got a long way to go. I'm not using any steroids whatsoever now. The only steroids that I have are in my asthma sprays, which I literally cannot go without, so that's the only steroids that I use. I don't have topical steroids anymore whatsoever. I'll never will do. But yeah, this is my skin as it is now. So I hope this video actually made sense, and I hope when I come to edit it that I actually can make sense of it, because the time frames that everything happened and the pictures and everything, it's quite hard to remember back when I was in such a bad headspace anyway as to when things happened. I just hope it's not been too much of a cut and paste kind of video. If anyone else is struggling with this, just ask your GPs if it's this. You will hopefully find a GP that will acknowledge that TSW is a real thing, because believe it or not, they don't a lot of the time, and neither do dermatologists. They will just give you steroid creams upon steroid creams. But yeah, keep at them, and hopefully you will find someone that goes, oh yeah, actually that is TSW. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification button just so you don't miss any more videos from me. And yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!